Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Hasana. Here I want to explain about problems with the use of the verb. As far as I know, there are two main problems that I found on the TOEFL test. Well, the first is you should know when to use the past with the present. People usually don't care about the past and the present in one sentence. So, if you see a sentence with one verb in the past and one verb in the sentence, it is probably incorrect. However, it is possible for a correct sentence to have both past and both present together. For example, he took the money when he wants it. The first verb is took and the second verb is wants. The first verb using verb to and the second verb using verb present. From the two principles that I have informed you, it is incorrect. It should have the same verb. If you use verb 1, so the second verb is verb 1 too. For example, he takes the money when he wants it. From in front of and the second verb have the same form. And if you want to use the verb to, it is possible like this. He took the money when he wanted it. It is the correct answer. But if you see the past, present together, you must check the meaning to determine whether or not the sentence is correct. You should check the time expression for the principle. All the principles should be related with the table. It's like if the time expression yesterday, so you should use past tense. The second is use the correct tense with time expression. Make sure that you have remember the difference between past perfect, simple past, and present perfect times expression. Past perfect usually used by blah 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 the year. For example, by 1920. Simple past use blah 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 ago. For example, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and etc. Last blah 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 the years. Last year, last month, or another. And use in blah 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 year. In 1920, for example. And present perfect use since and lately. For example, we moved to New York in 1970. We should see from time expression first. It is used in 1970. So, it is used simple present. Simple past tense. Let's see the verb. Use verb to. That is write, move. It is verb to. This is the right sentence. For the second is we had left there by 1980. We should see the time expression first. Used by 1980. So, it is the time expression for past perfect. Past perfect is had plus verb 3. That is true in the sentence that had plus left. Left here is verb 3 from leave. Next here, I want to discuss about problems with passive verbs. Make sure you use the correct form of the passive. Remember that the passive form is be past participle, or it is used verb 3 by and plus object. Always remember that there is be, verb 3 and by and the object. For example, in correct sentence, let's see the first example. The portrait was painted by a famous artist. Let's remember again the form be, verb 3 and by and object. Let's see the be. Be here use was, and after be use verb 3. But this is not verb 3 but verb ing. Painting, it is should paint. So the correct one is the portrait was painted by a famous artist. Let's see the second example from the incorrect example. The project will finish by the team. Let's remember again the form be past participle by object. Be here, there is not be. So in this sentence, less be, it should be the project will be finished by the team. And the next is you should recognize the active and passive meaning. You can use the meanings in Indonesian. And remember that active, the subject, does the action of the verb. And the passive, the subject receives the action of the verbs. For example, for the incorrect, the car parked in a no parking zone. So, let's see the car. The car here does the action or receive the action. It is sure that the car here is receive the action. It is possible to the car does the action. It is possible if the car park itself. It is parked by someone. So the correct one is the car is parked in a no parking zone. And the third discussion is problem with noun. Make sure that you use the correct singular or plural noun. In the singular or plural noun, there is a determined, or we can call it the keywords. Let's remember the keywords. For singular noun keywords, it's like each, every, single, one, a. For the plural keywords, it is like both, too, many, several, various. Let's remember that. For example, she studied each chapters. Let's see the noun chapters. Chapters here use as. But before chapters, there is each. Let's see the each. Each here is singular noun, but the chapters is a plural. So it can be the correct answer is she studied each chapter. Each chapter without s. And the second, distinguish countable and uncountable noun. In the countable noun, it is usually you can count it from your finger. But in uncountable noun, you cannot count it by a finger. It is shaped as liquids, powder, gas, and abstract things. And there are some determiner or the keywords of countable as like many, number, few, or fewer. For uncountable, much, amount, little, and less. For example, from the correct example, he has much foreign films. Let's see the noun. The noun here is foreign films. Foreign films here is countable noun, but it is used much. It is wrong places. So the correct one is he has many foreign films. Although films here use as is recognize irregular plurals of noun. You should enrich your vocabulary about irregular plurals noun because it has a different typing and different sound. For example, food become feet, not foods. Tooth become teeth, not tooths. As like for example in the incorrect sentence. Different criteria was need to evaluate the performance. Criteria here is noun. The irregular criteria here same criteria from the regular criterion. So the to be is wrong. It is should use were. So the best one is different criteria were need to evaluate the performance. Next, distinguish the person from the thing. Again, you should know and remember that edit and ending of noun here is like a stien, cien, et, or and many others. Let's see the problem. The problem here in accountant. An accountant here is not noun, it is verb. So it is it should become accounting to be a noun. And this is the last for me. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Melisa Farna Firdaus, and I am as the second speaker of the 5th group in TOEFL class. Today, I would like to explain you two topics. The first topic is problems with pronouns, and the second topic is problems with adjective and adverbs. Let's start from the first topic, problems with pronouns. There are three most common problems of pronoun on the TOEFL test. Those are the first, distinguish subject and object pronouns. Look at in the table. That is the formula that we should know in distinguishing between subject and object pronouns. You can see that in subject consists of I, you, he, and etc. And in the object of pronoun consists of me, you, him, her, it, us, and etc. We should remember that a subject pronoun is the same as the subject of a verb, and an object pronoun is the same as the object of a verb or the object of a preposition. For the example, Sally gave the book to John. When it uses pronoun, it becomes she gave it to him. As we see in the second sentence, the subject pronoun she is replacing the noun Sally. The object of the verb it is replacing the noun book, and the object of preposition him is replacing the noun John. Alright, that's all about the first point. The second point is distinguish possessive pronouns and possessive adjectives. We can see in the table that is the classification of possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. In possessive adjectives, there are my, your, his, her, its, our, and their. And in possessive pronouns, there are mine, yours, his, hers, ours, and theirs. We should also remember that the main difference in distinguishing between possessive adjective and possessive pronoun is possessive adjectives must be accompanied by noun. Okay, meanwhile possessive pronouns cannot be accompanied by noun. For the example, they lend me their book. Their here is possessive adjective that accompanied by noun, book. The second example, they lend me theirs. Theirs here is possessive pronoun that it stands alone and there is no noun following it. The third subpoint or the third problem is checking pronoun reference for agreement. There are two steps that we should remember about checking pronoun reference. The first, be sure that every pronoun and possessive agrees with the noun it refers to. The second, you generally check back in the sentence for agreement. For example, I took two examples which these include the types of errors that we might find on the TOEFL test. The first, the boys will cause trouble if you let him. The pronoun him here is incorrect. Why? It is because it doesn't match with the subject. Please take a look for the subject there. The subject is boys where it is plural. So it doesn't use him but it should be them. So for the correct sentence is, the boys will cause trouble if you let them. The second example is, everyone must give their name. The possessive adjective is there, but it shouldn't use there because everyone as the subject here shows single. So it must use his or her. For the correct sentence here is, everyone must give his or her name. Look at the sample question below. This is the sample question of problem with pronoun. Superman made their comic debut in 1938 in Action Comics. The answer is there. Why it is wrong? Why is it wrong? It is because Superman as the subject here shows single and a man. So the pronoun must be his. So the correct sentence is, Superman made his comic debut in 1938 in Action Comics. Okay, that's all about the point of problems with pronouns. Next, problems with adjectives and adverbs. Look at in the table. Those are examples of some words that includes to adjective and include to adverb. We should know that adding ly or ly in the last of some adjective words will become adverb. Okay, for example, such as recent become recently, evident become evidently. There are three skills involving adjectives and adverbs that will help us on the written expression of the TOEFL test. Those are, first, knowing when to use adjectives and adverbs. We should remember that adjectives have only one job, they describe nouns and pronouns. Okay, and for adverbs do three different things. They describe verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. The second is using adjectives after linking verbs. Do you know linking verbs? I'm sure you know. A linking verb is followed by an adjective rather than an adverb. For the example, she looks nice. Looks here is a linking verb, and nice is an adjective. Actually, not only word look that includes the linking verb, but there are also some words called linking verb, such as in the table, there are appear, be, become, feel, look, prove, and the others. And the last point is positioning adjectives and adverbs correctly. There are two common errors of this type that we should be aware of. The first is the position of adjectives with the nouns they describe, and the position of adverbs with objects. We can see in the table, those are the position of adjectives and adverbs. For adjectives, comes before the noun it describes. It doesn't come directly after. For the example, the smart student is sick. Smart here come before noun. For adverbs, an adverb can appear in many positions. It can be in the first, in the middle, or in the last. For the example, he has recently taken an English course. For the beginning in the sentence, recently he has taken an English course, and for the last of the sentence, it becomes he has taken an English course recently. Look at the sample question below. That is the sample question of the problems with adjectives and adverbs. Modern art is on display at the Guggenheim Museum, a building with an unusual design. The answer is unusually. Why is it wrong? It is because there is a noun that follows the word design. So it should be an adjective, not an adverb. As we know that an adverb never describes a noun, but it is the function of adjective. The adjective of the word unusually is unusual. So the correct sentence is modern art is on display at Guggenheim Museum, a building with an unusual design. Okay, that's all about my explanation. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rizkyati Maulina. I'm from CBID and I'm from the fifth group. And here I want to explain you about tips and tricks, structure and written expression. And here I want to explain you the second explanation. The first explanation is problem with adjective, and the second explanation is problem with article. Okay, I want to explain you about problems with adjective. In Longman book, in page 20 and 4, the previous section deals with various problems related to both adjective and adverb. But today, I want to explain you about only two adjective. There are 3 points. The first point is ly adjective, and the second is predicate adjective, and the last is ed and ing adjective. And here I want to share you about tips and tricks. Before I want to explain it, you know that about what is adjective. Yeah, adjective is word used to provide a brief description or description of only nouns and pronouns. This means that adjective can only describe noun and pronoun. Adjectives are divided into two, namely ordinal adjective and modified adjective. Before I want to explain what is ordinal adjective and what is modified adjective, I want to show you about the what is tips and trick adjective ly. Yeah, if the adjective is added ly, it changes to adverb, and if a noun is added, it changes to an adjective. Addition rule ly. Remember, we only need to add ly or ly in Indonesian to the end of the adjective. For example, loud can be loudly, beautiful, beautifully, and the others. Okay, and keynote, you can remind it note, C, or consonant. Word ending in ll, just add y like full, fully. Words ending in C consonant plus LA, just delete A, then add Y. Yeah, just delete E in Indonesian A, then add Y in Indonesian Y, like terrible. Terrible is very, very, you know. And word endings with Y or two syllable or more, replace Y to E, then add ly like happy, happily. Understand? And the keyword, if the word ending in Y contain only one syllable, then we can simple add ly like coy, coyly, shy, shyly, and etc. Exception, day, daily, gay, exuberant. Okay? Okay. In the second explanation is use predicate adjective correctly. In use predicate adjective correctly, you know that certain adjectives appear only in the predicate of the sentence. That is, they appear after a linking verb such as be, and they cannot appear directly in front of the nouns that they describe. Yeah. And a predicate adjective is one of many different type of adjective. Basically, predicate adjective modify the subject of the sentence. For example, in the sentence, the wall is purple, dinding berwarna ungu, and the subject is wall. Yeah, right? And the predicate is adjective is purple, and the linking verb is. Yeah, so it is subject, verb, and predicate and adjective. Okay, and the last I want to explain you about the use ed and ing adjective. Okay, adjective that end in ed are often applied to describe feeling, whereas those that use the ing suffix are used to denote the character of someone or something. Now, adjective that end in ed generally describe emotion. They tell you how people feel. For example, I was so bored in that lesson. I almost fell asleep. Or he was surprised to see Helen after all those years. And the others. In adjective that and in generally describe the thing that caused the emotion, like a boring lesson makes you feel bored. For example, have you seen that film? It is really frightening, like this. Next, before I have done explain you for about adjective are divided into two, namely ordinal adjective and modified adjective. Now, what is ordinal adjective? The original adjective is the original adjective that always come before the noun. For example of good boys, a hot days. This is hot days and good boy comes before the noun, right? Good is adjective and boys is noun. Um, and hot days. Hot is adjective and days is noun, right? And the second is modified adjective. Modified adjective or verb ing, verb 3. It is an artificial adjective is the form of this subtracting adjective usually located in front of or behind a noun. For example, a crying and this boy standing, right? Here I give you for example in problem with adjective. In reality, all biological reproductive begins at the cellular level. Yeah, what is that, guys? And what is wrong and in the correct in answer? Okay, that's right. The answer is it should be reproductive. It is noun. Reproductive is supposed to reproduction. So the adjective follows the noun. So the question here is correct. Reproductive must be to reproduction. Okay, it is the last my explanation, and this is the problem with article. Yeah, there are four problems with article. The first is use article with singular nouns, and the second is distinguish a and an, and the third is make article agree with nouns, and the last is distinguish specific and general idea. And here I want to share you and explain you for about tips and trick from problems with article. I have done conclude from my material. Yeah, I think articles are very difficult to learn because there are many rules, many exceptions, and many special cases. It is possible, however, to learn a few rules that will help you to use article correctly much of time. But it is very important to have an understanding and knowledge about article in the English language. Um, Article can be tough to solve for the people who don't have knowledge about them. In order to understand how articles are brought into use, it is important to know that nouns can be distinguished into two main parts. The first part is countable nouns, those that can be counted in quantity. And the second is uncountable noun, those that are indefinite, in short, cannot be counted. In addition to this, you should know that noun can either singular or plural. This is key note. Uncountable nouns are always singular. Okay. I give for for example. Yeah, the first is he bought a new car. What is an article kan new. Yeah, the correct option is because the explanation is car is a common noun and they are always singular. Therefore, the article is the most suitable. Okay, and the second example, he is a American. The article a or an. Yeah, that's right. The correct option is a. Yeah, the explanation American. What American from the syllable is a first, but what is not an? Okay, American start with a vowel sound. Therefore, the right article should be an. Okay, thank you. I think enough from my
This is, for
explanation.
example, problem with adjective. Land cover almost third of the earth surface, of which two-thirds is too cold or too dry for farming. Okay, where is our correct or where is false? Yeah, that's right. The answer is B, because third should be written as a third, which falls under the category of certain numeral expression. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rosianti. Here in this occasion, I would like to explain about problem with preposition. Actually, there are two common problems in preposition. The first is incorrect preposition, and the second is omitted preposition. Okay, let me start from incorrect preposition. Actually, incorrect preposition is one of the common problem that usually is given in written expression section in TOEFL test. Yeah, the common problem in this term happen with some factors as like the learner has lack of their attention on the written text of the test itself, and also the learner has lack understanding about the use of preposition. Okay, let me give you the example of incorrect preposition. I have a sentence: I knew I count in you to the good job. Actually, this sentence is incorrect. Why? Because the preposition in is used when we talk about time that refer to an unspecific time of day, a month, a season, or a year. So the correct one is I knew I count on you to do good job. Okay. Okay, the second is omitted preposition. Sometimes a necessary preposition have been omitted from a sentences with the written expression section of the TOEFL test. Yeah, the omission of preposition itself are not used with a certain verb and expression. Okay, let me give you the example of omitted preposition. I have a sentence: I'm going home. Actually, there is preposition that is omitted. Yes. Two is the preposition is that is omitted. Yeah, the preposition is not normally used before the word home, so the two preposition is omitted. Yeah, but the correct sentence is I'm going to home. Okay, next is distinguish unlike, and dislike. Actually, unlike, dislike are easily confused because they look so similar, but actually they have many different use. Okay, let me give you the example of them so that you can easier to understand what I mean. Okay, I have a sentences. John and Tom are alike. And the second is John and Tom work in a like manner. Okay, actually the both example here, like and like, are adjectives that mean similar. In the first example, alike is a predicate adjective describing John and Tom. Meanwhile, alike is a predicate adjective that can only be used after a linking verb, such as are. Yeah, the second example, like, is adjective form that is used immediately before the noun manner. Okay, continue to the next example. Okay, John is like Tom. John is unlike Tom. Okay, actually, in the first example, the preposition like is followed by the object Tom. It means that Tom and John are similar. In the second example, the preposition unlike is followed by the object Tom. It means that Tom and John are not similar. Okay, the last structure to distinguish like, alike, unlike, and dislike that you should be similar with are verb like and dislike, which have opposite meaning because they are include to verb and they are used with subject. Okay, let me give you the example of it. I have a sentences. John and Tom like the course. John and Tom dislike the course. Okay, let me explain the example itself. Yeah. Okay, the first example, the verb like follows the subject Tom and John. It means that the both of them think that the course is enjoyable. But the second example, the verb dislike that related with the object of John and Tom means that the both of men there think that the course is not enjoyable. Okay, the last explanation that I'm going to inform you, it is about distinguish other, another, and others. Actually, other, another, and others are very easy to confuse. To decide how to use each of them correctly, you must consider three things. The first is, it is singular or plural. Second is, it is definite or indefinite. And the third is, it is include to an adjective that appears with a noun, or it is a pronoun that appears by itself. Okay, let me give you the example of them so that you can easier to catch my point. Okay, look at the table there. Okay, pay attention to indefinite. If the sentence include to singular, you should put another. Okay, for example, I have another book. I have another. If the sentence include to plural, you should put other. Okay, for example, I have other books. I have others. Okay, pay attention to the definite. If you use definite in the singular sentence, you should put the other. Okay, let me give you the example. I have the other book. I have the other. If the sentence includes the plural, you should put the others. Okay? Let me give you the example of it. I have the others books. I have the others. Okay, I think that's all that I can deliver my explanation. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.